Thanks for joining me. I've been,
Good to be here.
Watching your stuff for the last over 10 years, since before I came to America. I love it. You kind of specialize in dealing with the history of humanity and the rise and falls of civilization. What made you think that was an appropriate topic for children? This is some pretty heavy stuff, man.
Yes, but you need to understand history to know even the most basic things about yourself. Like when I was a kid, I often woke up in the middle of the night afraid there's a monster under the bed, which happens to a lot of children.
Yes.
And you call your mom, but you also want to know why is it happening?
Right.
And history actually holds the answer.
What is the answer?
Because this is really a memory from hundreds of thousands of years ago when humans lived in the savannah and there are actually monsters, cheetahs, lions that came to eat kids in the middle of the night.
Okay, see, so is that something you want kids to know?
Yes.
That these monsters were once real and they killed kids in their sleep?
It's important to know that because you then understand your own emotions and feelings better. You understand that I'm not crazy to be afraid of these things. Or for instance, lots of kids, like adults, they wonder, why do I like to eat so much stuff that isn't good for me? Is something wrong with my body? And again, history holds the answer.
What is the answer?
Because all those hundreds of thousands of years ago, it actually made sense. If you walk along the savannah and you find something sweet, like sweet fruits, it makes sense to eat as much of it as quickly as possible. Because if you eat just 1 or 2 fruits and go away, by the time you come back, the baboons ate everything. So it makes sense under those conditions. Now, today, it doesn't make sense when you open the refrigerator and find a chocolate cake to eat all of it.
Sure.
But your body doesn't know. Your body basically follows the program of evolution from all those years ago.
Yeah, it's programmed. So if you can't do anything to stop it, then
No,
what are you telling
can
people?
Stop it, but understanding yourself better is an important step to having greater control of your life.
Those are good examples, but I'm going to quote your book here.
Yes. Please.
Let's get to the chapter in this children's book called Diarrhea Days.
Oh.
Where, I quote, someone who got diarrhea couldn't keep down any food or water, and sometimes they died from it. Is this something you really want kids to know?
Yes, because it actually explains where most of the epidemics and infectious diseases came from. Hunter-gatherers suffered from no epidemics. They lived in very small bands. If somebody had diarrhea, then immediately all the band would move to another place. And in any case, only like a few people could get it.
Okay.
But once people switched to agriculture, and we had the big agricultural revolution, then you have thousands of people stuck permanently
so you're saying
in the town.
The first humans ate a lot of berries and shat their pants and moved on. And,
Yes.
How do you tell that to kids, though? Like, what's your approach to telling, how do you even... Everything you just told me, as an adult, I'm fascinated by. But when you tell a kid, are they, they're like, okay, give me more berries. You know what I mean? Like, how do they absorb the lesson you're trying to tell them?
I hope that it's written in such a way that even somebody who is 8 or 9 is fully capable of understanding it. It's actually more difficult to write for kids than for adults.
I agree.
Because with adults, if you don't know something, you just use these complicated words and long sentences, and they think they don't understand you because they don't understand.
Yeah.
With kids, you have to speak very simply.
Yeah, like sometimes we died from diarrhea.
Yeah.
See, so this is what I think. I think you wrote, you've written *Sapiens* before, which is a great book for adults. And I think that there's too many dumb people who couldn't understand what you're saying. So you wrote this, not for kids, you wrote this for dumb adults. That's really what this is. This is a book. You took your thing, you put some pictures in it. See, there's an illustration of someone dying from diarrhea. This isn't from kids. This is for dumb adults, right?
That's one explanation.
Right. And you want, I feel like a lot of what you're telling us is the message of what history is trying to tell us now. I feel like that's what you're trying to decode right now, a lot of it. And I guess, what is the message that history is trying to tell us now?
Many messages. I mean, one thing is to beware of unintended consequences of what we do. Like, again, the agricultural revolution, people thought it was a good idea. It brought about epidemics. So same lesson for the big revolutions of right now, like AI. The more important message is that the world in which we live have been created by humans, and therefore humans can change it. If something is unfair, it's not the laws of nature that created, our economy, our nations, our religions. They're all created by human beings.
Right, and yeah, you see, that's that. It sounds hopeful, but you think about it, you're like, oh no, humans did all this. What hope do we have? No, I know, but like, what hope do we have of changing things? I mean, how much of? I guess what I'm saying is, how much of this is inevitable? Like when you study history, you go.
No, history is never deterministic. I mean, like you think about technology. Every technology can be used to create very different societies. You think about, I don't know, North Korea and South Korea. Exactly the same technology. But they use electricity in a slightly different way. One place they produce K-pop, and just up north, big hats and missiles. So.
Okay. Am I supposed to just take that, or am I supposed to? Okay, fine. Well.
No, but on a more serious level,
yeah.
Again, people have a lot of fears about technology, what it will do to our politics.
Yeah.
But again, you think about South Korea and North Korea. So same people, same history, same technology, and you have a liberal democracy on one side and a totalitarian regime on the other. So it's not the technology that is shaping our politics or our regimes. It is what we decide to do with the technology.
Sure. Well, you say that we are in charge of the technology in a way.
Yeah.
But the kind of one of the thesis statements of your book is that we're all going to get replaced by technological beings.
If we make the wrong decisions. I mean, it's not inevitable. AI, like electricity, like, the earliest, writing, when people invented writing. So you can do many things with the technology of writing. You can write poetry, you can write taxes.
You can say you as well. You can write like a...
You can,
yeah.
But again, it's a choice of people. Actually, interestingly enough, the first person that we know his name, he was not a conqueror, he was not a big prophet or king, he was a geek, he was an accountant. Like we have these stone and clay tablets from ancient Mesopotamia with accounts of payments and receipts and salaries and stuff like that signed by these ancient geeks, and they are the first people.
Okay, so you keep calling these people geeks, and I'm like, do you like them or you don't like them? I don't know. Are they good or are they bad?
They're good. I mean, Jesus said the geek will inherit the earth, no?
All right. So back on that topic, so you keep saying, stories are the superpower of humans in a way, right? Everything we kind of do, if you think about it, from culture to politics to even money.
Yeah, money is the greatest story ever told. It's the only story everybody believes.
Sure.
And, it's when you look at it, it has no value in itself. The value comes only from the stories we tell about it, as every cryptocurrency guru or Bitcoin enthusiast, no, it's all about the stories. There is nothing else. It's just a story.
Okay, so is it real? Is Bitcoin, you telling me to invest in Bitcoin right now? I don't know what. So is it a good thing or bad thing? I think
it's kind of a cyclical thing. If enough people believe in it, then you can go to the supermarket and buy whatever you want. If people lose faith in the story, then it's worth nothing. And that's true of the Bitcoin, it's true of the dollar, and of every other currency that people ever invented.
Okay, you see, when you talk about these things, you're always very objective. You always be like, hey man, I'm just telling you how it is. I'm not, what do you think? Do you think, what makes you go, this, because when you talk about history, you're always like, the humans came out and then some of them ate berries, and you maintain this kind of academic objectivity. But
that's the idea.
But what actually do you go, this shit? This is awful. What makes you go? Because you seem to be okay with everything. You're like, yeah, machines come on, it's a tool. We don't know. You go like, AI, this is bad. Like, what makes you go, no?
The question about every story, whether about money, AI, whatever, is whether it increases or decreases the suffering in the world.
Yeah, you see, this is a non-answer. Just tell me what you hate. Tell me what you hate.
What I hate?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, can we tell this right now? So you think that you're openly atheist?
Yes.
Yes. So can you clarify right now that God is just made up? Can you
Yes.
please say, okay. So God is made. We had it here. Okay. God, can you say into the camera, please? We need it.
Humans created God.
Okay, great. That we settled it. That's great. This guy, we solved it.
Again, it should be emphasized, just because human created it doesn't mean it's bad. It can also do good things for us.
Stop hedging this. Just let it ride. Just go, this sucks. We need more. See, this is my problem. I think we need more people with kind of objectivity, calmly discussing things. I don't think that's, is anything in what you've seen with humanity telling you that we can, pull ourselves out of, all these downsides in history?
Absolutely. I mean, humans have all the problems we face, we also have the resources to deal with them. Whether it's climate change, whether it's the rise of AI, we have the resources. What we usually lack is the motivation and the ability to cooperate with one another. But, some people think that to solve the big problems, you always need to use violence, like you can't make an omelette without breaking eggs. But when you look at history, it's absolutely not true. You think, for instance, about the feminist revolution. After thousands of years of a huge injustice, feminism made a huge change in the social structure of humanity without starting any wars, without assassinating anybody, no guillotines in City Square. So that's one of the hopeful examples of how people can, just by changing the story, also change the world. The idea that stories...
I think you're converting people to your religion right now.
The idea that stories kind of fuel history, there is a positive promise there that, if it's all about power, the only way to change power structures is with violence. But if it's really, at least in part, about the stories people believe, then potentially by talking with people and changing the stories in which they believe, you can change the world.
Okay, that's very optimistic, but I'm not hopeful. One last question. One thing I really enjoy about your work is that you like to tie kind of current modern behavior to like our evolutionary beginnings. For example, like you said, we wake up in the middle of the night when we're kids because we ran from actual monsters when we were children. So I just like to know, why is it that whenever I pee, I shiver? Like, what was the evolutionary reason?
Maybe you should ask a doctor, I'm not sure.
No, I'm asking you, Mr. Expert.
I'm not an expert on everything.
All right. The last thing I found very interesting is you said that, like, right now we have humans composing things and AI amplifying it.
Yeah.
That's our current situation. And you say in the future we're going to have AI composing things and
already
amplifying
the images you saw before of AI generating fake images.
Yes.
This is basically a kind of art.
Sure.
So it's still the first steps.
Right.
But AI is still a baby. It's like,
Right.
10 years since the start of the major AI revolution.
Right.
So we haven't seen anything yet.
Okay.
And it is very likely that in a couple of years or decades, much of art, many of the stories we believe, even religion, will be increasingly created by this alien intelligence and not by human intelligence.
Okay, see, that's bad. That's a bad thing. Well, you just said that's not good.
That's a very dangerous thing, yes, absolutely.
Okay, so are you going to say that? Can you at least say that's bad? Are you gonna...
Yeah, that's bad.
Okay, good. I finally got him to say something bad. Okay, I don't know. I guess I'm equal parts hopeful and pessimistic about the future. I'm sorry.
That's a good stance.
To
It's
be
a balanced stance, yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for speaking to me. Unstoppable Us, Volume 2 is available now. Yuval Noah Harari, everybody.